Well, here I'm going to polish the points. A job that I hardly ever do. Yeah, right. And pop the recoil off and go from there. Well, I forgot to mention about the Gale line of outboards. Again, I was in the economy line of outboards, so there's a lot of things that weren't done on them to keep the costs down. One thing was not painting the airbox and the pull starters. And another sign that was more or less an Evinrude power head that they use. I've never seen a Gale. I even looked on YouTube through the years with a Johnson cylinder head on it. They all had the Evinrude heads on it, the old 50s heads on it. So just a little point of interest. It were basically mostly, they seem to use the Evinrude power heads more than the Johnson. And that's that. There's other things too. If I think about them, I'll mention them. But it was in the economy. I wonder what the price difference was back then. You know, it's probably $100 cheaper than a Johnson or an Evinrude, you know, which was a lot of money in those days, 50s and early 60s. So anyway, let me proceed with removing the flywheel and we'll take it from there. Always one in a group when it comes to screws. Always one in a group. Now I'll set up the puller. If we're lucky, it'll be good coils in there, not cracked. We'll see. Went ahead and checked. I took the cover off. The coils are cracked. Darn, 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 darn. So now I got to change the coils and clean the points. I think in '63 they changed the coating on the coils to that green and blue, or green or blue plastic. But this has the old style, 1960. So it's in that time frame where you got to anticipate that they're going to be cracked. So I'm going to change them. Let's go plug in my air compressor. It's getting low. So out for this one. Heating it up didn't help. It was really on there. You get that every once in a while. Probably 1 out of every 10 flywheels I take off are like that. So for the average person, yeah, it shouldn't happen too often. But if it does, they have special pullers and all kinds of stuff. You can put cord inside the cylinders, all kinds of stuff. I just take 2 vice grips, beefy ones. I clamp it on the steel, on the ring gear, on this side of the airbox, on this side of the pull starter bracket. And I put a pipe on it with a breaker bar, and I just got it off. And it came off with a pop. So every once in a while you get these stubborn ones. You don't want to heat them up. This is my opinions and what I've learned. You don't want to heat it up too hot because you could affect the strength of it, the heat treatment or case hardening of the crank or whatever they do on it. So I would never try to get it cherry red. Just, you know, heat it up quickly, and that should help. I don't even use WD-40, but you could try that too. But anyway, it's off. I thought it was going to hit the moon when it came off. It just popped up like a rocket. And there they are. The notorious crack coils. So I'm going to take the Magneto off. There's some gibberish going on here with the wires. I don't know what somebody's in here. These wires aren't supposed to be stowed like this, you know, around the pull starter bracket. They're supposed to both come down here, down through here, and into the pan, and all the slack should be in the pan. So anyway, I'm going to pull the Magneto off and polish the points and put it back together. Yeah, I see all kinds of stuff going on here. I don't know what they tried to do here. Insulate the wire, I don't know. But those coils are going in the trash. Like I said in some of my videos years ago, I scrapped 2 5-gallon buckets full of them. So it gives you an idea of how many motors I've worked on through the years. So, you know, that's just the way it is. Also, this could be the reason why the motor was put in that barn probably back in the 70s. No spark. Because his coils, you know, notorious for that. Sometimes you'll get them to work intermittently. Some people try to take them off and re-epoxy them. But, you know, I just change them. And I also inspect the spline on the flywheel. It's not fanned out on the end, so it's just important. Because that will cause problems with the woodruff keys breaking off. You get stuck out on the water and it breaks. It's not very pleasant. It's actually happened to me a few times when I was a kid. Kept going down to the local marina in my town. Can I have another woodruff key? Can I have another woodruff key? Because I didn't know anything about torque when I was 12, 13 years old. Okay. So anyway, that's just a story of my past there. Till the next clip. So on closer evaluation, these are the cutoff wires. They have them going to the points over the coil and under the coil. There's supposed to be grommets in the bottom of the plate. Now I got to see if they're there or not. I don't know what the history is of this motor is. I was hoping just to pop the flywheel off, polish the points, put the flywheel back on, and try to kick it over. But it always doesn't work that way. And that's all what working on old outboards is about. Years and years of mistakes and fixes that you just have to do. It's just part of the job. So this Magneto's coming off, and I'm going to take it totally apart and find out if the holes are underneath the coils for the Magneto kill switch wires to go through. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe this plate was changed. But they went. This is no good. Going over the top like this, it's just a nightmare. But that's why I'm here. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. I'm telling you, I'm going to fix it. Okay. If you look up the word mess in the dictionary, you'll find a picture of this Magneto. It does have the grommets and the wires where they're supposed to be through the mag plate. But why they routed them over the coils in the way they did, it's just from not knowing the right way to do it. So check out the points. If they're really pitted, I'll change them. If not, I'm just going to polish them like I always do. And cut back the wires where they go into the coils. Inspect the wires. Check the springs on the end inside the boot. Make sure there's no rust. Cut them back and reset that connection, and move on from there. Piece of cake. So here I got these wires with all this tape on it because they had them going over the coils. So I'm going to take all this tape off, inspect the wires, and see if they're chafed or whatever. I just think it's overkill because they didn't know how to run these wires properly. But that's what I'm doing right now. And then I'm going to take the points out, polish them, put them back in, and replace the coils, like I said before. Continue on. All right, so I got the Magneto fixed here in this clip. I'm going to show it to you. The old coils. I ended up changing the wires. The wires were brittle. I don't often change wires. When I have to, I do. And I also changed the springs that were in the boots. They're all rusted. It's got a nice bright blue spark. And it's got these power mower spark plugs. I don't know. I've never seen these before. They look like J4 Champions. they work, so I'm going to try it. If not, I'll put a pair of J4s in there. Now I was going to show you. Take my word for it, it sparks pretty good. So I'm going to put this back together, and tomorrow I'm going to try to start it. It's late in the day now, so the last 2 hours messing with this Magneto, changing it over, and new wires, you know, the whole bit. So tomorrow we'll find out how she runs. Okay. Well, here I got the coils changed, points are polished on the Gale. I just kind of got a little sidetracked on this, so I'm just going to show you. I put a pair of German coils on there. I think OMC sold these years back. I'm not sure, but they say made in Germany on them. And I fixed all the wires, the routing of the kill wires, no more wrapped around here and over the coils. Everything is back stock the way it's supposed to be. And that's that. I'm going to try to get this thing running pretty soon, and I'll show it to you once I get it running. Looking forward to it. Okay. You ever get these stuck transom screw clamps? You know, most times I'll just cut them flush and drill and tap them and replace them. But I did free this side up with heat and the vice grip. This side's much more of a problem. I was going to cut it off, so let me try one more time after this one got free. Maybe I can get this one free too. So, you know, I heat it up as hot as I can with my MAP gas torch. And then I put the vice grip right below the casting that you grab with your hand, where it's squared. And you can get a pretty good grip on it without destroying the threads too bad. You're going to have some damage, but the clamp will still work. So I put the large vice grip on there. Then I just happen to have an old piece of 3-inch pipe here. It's actually a part of the exhaust system headers to a car. And then I take a piece of, I got a 3-foot piece of 2-inch pipe, and I go inside it. And I'll just work it around, and I'll get it out. I know some people like to drill holes in here and put oil in there. If I can avoid that, I avoid it. I probably would most likely rather cut it flush, step drill it 3 times to the tap drill, and just run the tap through it. But here I'm going to use the 3-inch piece of pipe with the vice grip and a lot of heat. And I already turned it a few turns. I just got a few more turns to go. What happens with these things over time, the end gets flared out. So I'm just constantly tightening it onto the boat, taking it off, putting it on the boat. It actually flares out. So you got to fight that distortion in the aluminum to get it out. Plus the fact that it's corroded in there too, with the corrosion from not being used for years and years. But this is just another little tip. It's how I get the screw clamps out. Okay. Well, here after wrenching it for a while with the pieces of pipe and the vice grip, I got it out. Now I'm running a 5/8 tap through it just to clean all the salt out of it. And I'll do the same with the other side. One of the most annoying things I find in this hobby is dealing with these screw clamps. Because they just didn't put Zerk fittings on them. Nobody ever greased them. And then they put the motors away for years and years, and they just corrode almost like they're welded shut in some cases. Sometimes you can get them out with the heat, and other times you just got to step drill them and retap the hole and replace the screw clamp. But this is what I do. My little setup here. Okay.